the Dark Future, also known as Luke. But I think you want to go by the Dark Future now, don't you?
Well, I'll settle for Luke from the Dark Future.
Luke from the Dark Future. We are joining forces with you guys today to talk about Cyberpunk 2020, Red, everything in between. We don't even have a name for whatever this is, whether it's a podcast or just a conversation. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, it's up in the air. It's cyberpunk talk right now.
Yeah, so I mean, we just had a lot of stuff that we wanted to talk about, and thought that you guys would find some cool insight on some of the things that we wanted to talk about, like Gen Con and Dark Future was there in person. You were like a legit journalist over there, you know that, right?
Yeah, I guess so. That's how it turned out, I guess.
Yeah, you were like a legit journalist. Like people were looking at your news, it was getting moved around. It was
Yeah, it
pretty
was pretty
awesome.
wild. Like it's a little hard to believe that I was like one of the main people who broke kind of the Friday Night Firefight game and the mini and the Cyberpunk 2077 uh, pen and paper game, and then the 2020 collector's edition that's coming next year. There was a lot that was there.
Dude, you just dropped like 20 bombs on people right now listening.
I know it blew up too. I mean, everybody's covering it right now. So
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, there's one thing that fascinates me about this whole thing, and it's kind of like the business aspect, and how pretty much Talsorian's just like, we're ready to cash checks, man. We're ready to do card games, movies, whatever the fuck you want, dude.
yeah, they're going all out. They have a lot cooking. I mean, they're not doing all of it, but they're licensing a lot of stuff out. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
as they should, man. It's cool. It's awesome that there's a resurgence for Cyberpunk. I mean, we obviously love it. So, you know,
It's the perfect time, with 2077 coming out after E3, the hype. It's the perfect time for Artel Soaring to turn it up.
yeah, like people can get excited about the game coming up by playing Red and the Jumpstart kit. I mean, it's like it's sold out every day at Gen Con, right?
Yeah, there was. I mean, I was in my interview. I was talking about it. Like I was in with what they call the running of the nerds, which is basically when everybody's waiting at about 9:45 for the doors to open to the hall at 10 o'clock, and I was right there with everybody. And I went straight back to their booth, and there was already a line all the way down the wall, like all the way down. It was just stretched way down, and like I said, they sold out every day. So,
Dude, they sold everything that they brought. That every Jumpstart kit got sold.
yep, they said
That's
it was
awesome.
like 5 times bigger than what happened when they debuted The Witcher tabletop RPG.
Holy
So
shit.
yeah, and they couldn't get their the factory that's developing the Jumpstart kits. They couldn't get enough made to get them
Wow.
shipped out fast enough. Yeah,
Well, man, that's great, dude. You're talking about a game that, like, when I heard that CD Projekt Red was gonna do it, I was like, "Are you serious?" Because no one knows anything about Cyberpunk, at least in my circle. You know?
yeah, it is. I mean, it took me a while to find it. You know what I mean? It's just kind of, and I'm super into tabletop RPGs, so it took the card game. It wasn't like it was Netrunner
Oh
from
wow.
Wizards of the Coast. Yeah, that was the game where I was like, oh, there's a tabletop game about this. So
Yeah, that's so cool, man. I remember my friend telling me, because I was like, I want to try Dungeons and Dragons. Have you ever tried that? And he's like, "That's for pussies, dude. This is a real man's game." And he showed me Cyberpunk.
well, at the time, what like about what year was that?
That was like early 2000s for me.
Okay, so that would have been like I'm not sure when fourth edition. That would have been like probably 3.5
It
when
could have
did
been, I think it was
Dungeons and
just before
Dragons.
4E. I think it was just before. Maybe
Oh, it's
3,
four. See that
3.5.
that's he was valid for saying that. fourth
Now I
edition
gotta
is
look it up.
fourth edition is filled with feats, and you're kind of almost like a superhero. Even 3.5 is a little bit like that. Not hating
Yeah.
on D&D at all. I love fifth edition, and I love first edition. Second edition is not bad, but after a while, you just get too strong. I like more lethal games personally.
Okay, yeah, it was 4th edition. It was like right when 4th edition came out. That's when I learned about Cyberpunk,
Yeah,
like around that time.
It's kind of crazy that it's been this long until we've gotten a new edition, though. Well, I guess we had V3, but
Oh my god.
that doesn't exist. And what?
I mean, it exists. It definitely exists. I've seen it.
Yeah, Mike Pondsmith, he says he thinks one of the reasons why that game didn't do so well is because he said he shouldn't listen to his fans. He said that he thought people wanted transhumanism, and so it didn't go so well. I don't know if it was completely like fans' fault, but
Who knows, man? I mean, to think that, I mean, even D&D had duds, dude. They had ones that didn't succeed. I'm sure they thought some of them were going to like blow everyone out of the water, and it never did.
Well, that's like what we were saying about fourth edition. Fourth edition was, I mean, it may have sold well, but like, a lot of people stopped playing and they went to Pathfinder, and that's why D&D came back with the fifth edition.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Because Pathfinder expanded on 3.5, which is what people love. People love 3.5, and so when Dungeons and Dragons went to fourth edition, they kind of made it a minis game, and they've even said they made it to kind of appeal more to like the World of Warcraft fan base. It sounds kind of weird, but for like video game fans. So
yeah, I mean, at least for me, the whole Cyberpunk thing right now, they're not messing up. They didn't mess up with Red, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, with Red, it's definitely a little bit different. I think he still kind of ran with the kind of nukes thing that he kind of did with 3, but it feels a lot better this time around.
You know what though, man? I can separate the lore and the game, because the game is, in my opinion, way more rewarding than the lore. It just, for me personally, I like the lore. It's cool, but I get way more out of the game than I do from the lore.
Yeah, like the mechanics and the setting in general.
Yeah, man, I have good memories. It's fun. It's a fun way to play a game. It's a fun game,
Yeah, I like more of the I don't know how this is going to be taken, but I like more of kind of the way that 2020 and 77 are, more than kind of like blowing everything up. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't get it. Say it. Like, explain.
Well, like with Red, it's kind of like lawlessness, because the nukes go off and the world is kind of like in shambles.
Oh,
and
yeah.
There's some things that, like, this is something that I don't know if anybody's talked about yet, but at the All Things Cyberpunk seminar, they were talking about how cyberware is very rare in Red, and it's like hard to acquire. And
really?
And so like there'll be people who go out into like the like fields, like where people die, from the bomb and stuff, and they'll pick cyberware off of like dead people and then like have somebody put it on them. It's like extremely hard. It's supposed to be really hard to get cyberware in Red.
Maybe they want it to be like there's a downside to cyberware, because right now in 2020, the only downside to cyberware most of the time is just humanity. That's it.
Yeah, but going cyber psycho.
Maybe in Red they're offering a new mechanic that is another downside, and that's why they want to make it minimal.
Like a host rejection type thing.
Yeah, something like that. So it's like, because how there isn't that much cyberware out there anymore, you have to get a second-hand one, and it might not be reliable. That's like the whole idea of it. So everybody has like unreliable cyberware except for like, the filthy rich.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? This is related but unrelated. In the after my interview, like I said, I kept talking to him, and one of the things that's going to be in Red that I thought was pretty is that netrunners are going to be able to hack cyberware.
Yeah, we saw that in the trailer of 2077 in like a recent little, I don't know what it was, like a cinematic gameplay trailer.
It's kind of in the demo too, a little bit.
Yeah, well, the lady, everybody thought that lady was like a psychic or something, some kind of telepath, but they didn't realize that it was like a netrunner doing some like hacking.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Where like the thing blew up. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
yeah. They're gonna put
because I didn't know that that was in the lore or in the. I've never read anything like that in the books. I was like, you can hack cyberware. Like, when did that happen? You know?
Yeah, it's going to be in Red. I know that because he was talking about how much they had to cut out of the core rulebook to make the Jumpstart kit, and he was like, "We just scratched the surface with Netrun."
Oh wow,
Yeah,
wow. That's cool, man. I like it. I like the idea. I like that they left us in the dark with like a lot of things like special abilities and stuff like that. And
yeah.
go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that it's kind of like what we're saying about the Jumpstart kit, about how it's kind of an easy, accessible thing to get into. I was talking to Mike about that, and he said it was kind of like he akins it to like because it's simple enough for new people to get in. He kind of calls it like steps, and that like new people can get in with the Jumpstart kit, and it's just one step. And then when the core rulebook gets up, it's not like a giant leap for people to read the rules, and it's another step up. It's not like a huge step. It's just one step. You know?
Yep. So they get acclimated. That's smart, man. I love it. I love
Yeah,
that.
and he also said that the way things are going to work is that there's going to be kind of two ways to do things. There's going to be like an easy way to do it, a quick way, and then there's going to be a more kind of complex way to do it for people who like crunch.
Oh man, that's so smart. I thought they were gonna eliminate the crunch, but it sounds like they want to appease everybody. Like, make sure that everyone can have fun.
Yeah, he was talking about how like he kind of wants to keep it for like the older players, who've been playing for a while, kind of want
Yeah,
to keep that flavor, but they want to keep it accessible for people who probably come from 2077.
yeah, that makes sense. I like it, man. There's room for both. You can do that easily. And like that's one thing about Talsorian, especially in Cyberpunk. They do a really good job explaining certain things like simplistically, you know? There's no word salad and weird words. It's just like this is what happens, this is what you do.
Yeah, it's kind of Mike's style. The way that they write all their books is like very accessible, and
Yeah. I like it. So that's consistent, They want it to be accessible to everybody and there's room for everyone to have fun, I love it. But yeah, that's Gen Con. Let's see. We had a document. We have a document here of things that we can talk about. Um but oh, by
I'll
the
talk
way,
about the minis a little bit.
before you do, for people that are listening, the Dark Future has a YouTube channel where you can see his interview with Mike Pondsmith and all the stuff that he saw at Gen Con. He has like 3-4 videos out right now about
Yeah,
Gen Con and
I've
everything that
been
he.
I've been putting out a video every day for the past couple days. So, but the interview with Mike is about 25 minutes long. So I sat down with him for over 30 minutes. So it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, so the Dark Future on YouTube. He had a really good conversation with him, and it was an awesome video, man. It was a great
And
interview. You asked great
I
questions.
think I thanks. I like to think of it that way, that it was a conversation, because it really wasn't so much as an interview as it was a conversation. Like
Yeah,
I had so many questions written down, and like I had like questions that I asked like the audience, like, hey, do you want me to ask Mike something? And I wish I would have gotten to those, but it was like the way it was going, it was like a conversation, and I felt like it would have been weird if I was like, hey, I got these questions.
yeah.
It flowed so well between me and him that I just kept it going the way it was.
Yeah, I think the whole like sitting, you could have done it two ways. One is a, you know, regular conversation between two human beings, or you could have done, all right, I have these questions and just please answer them as quickly as possible. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
so impersonal.
Something I think I haven't really spoken about too much is that like he was a little bit late to the interview because he had a meeting with Monster Fight Club about the minis, and when he showed up, he was like really tired. And in the beginning of my interview, you can see where he's like, "Man, I already walked 8 miles," and like so he was really tired when he came up. But as soon as the interview started going, he was on it, and you can tell,
Wow.
like when we're talking, like he's excited to talk about Cyberpunk, and it's obvious.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome, man. I mean, think about it. Like, this is like a twilight period for Cyberpunk. Everybody loves it. Everybody wants to, get a piece of it. It's awesome.
Yeah, I was like we're saying, like it's the perfect time for Artosaurian to start kicking it up a notch, you know.
So there was that board game, and it was called, what was it called?
Oh, Friday Night Firefight.
What was it about again? Like you
Uh,
said it was like 10 minutes or something.
it's like 20 to 30 minutes, and he called it like a beer and pretzel game, and like I think he didn't get into like details with it, but from what I gather, you pick like a class, like a netrunner or a solo or lawman, whatever you want, and then you kind of battle it out on kind of like these terrain pieces. And so Cody kind of said like you build the terrain, so I'm guessing that like when you start out, you kind of both build the terrain to how you want to do the firefight, and then there are cards involved, and I'm guessing that the cards are like your abilities. And like you said, it's like 20-30 minutes, and it's really fast. And he said he said he had a lot of fun with it, and like you just want to keep playing again. And like if somebody beats you, you're like, okay, I'm gonna pick the solo this time, or I'm gonna be the lawman this time.
Yeah, yeah. It sounds like a creative cyberpunk combat card game.
Yeah, I mean, I assume that's why they called it Friday Night Firefight. Like when I was first thinking about it, I was like, it'd be pretty kind of cool to do a game like that. Well, I guess the cards are all kind of like the abilities, so it makes sense. But I was gonna say like just the combat section of Cyberpunk in a board game is basically what that is.
Yeah, I hope it does well. I hope people like it, and I like the minis. Just the minis. I would want it for just those.
I know, yeah, they look pretty good. I didn't get too close up with those because I saw those and then I was like distracted by the other ones, but
Yeah,
the whole set looks cool, and that's being developed internally by somebody who works at Artosorian. So
so
that's
cool.
something that they're like directly involved with, which means Mike will have his hands on that project.
And then, so yeah, the All Things Cyberpunk seminar. Oh, we were talking about how like Mike said something. What did he say about the collector's edition?
Oh, actually, okay. We were kind of going through. What's funny, I'll tell you this little story. It's like when they were setting everything up, they had actually the microphone I'm using right now. They had a Yeti there, and
Oh, wow.
yeah, they were kind of like trying to set it up, but I could tell they weren't using it right. So I went up there and was like helping them with their gear and stuff, and like I turned the mic the right way because they had it kind of tilted. I don't know if you know with the Yeti, you're supposed to talk directly into it without it tilted, just sitting up.
Yep.
And then I like put the right mode on so that the audio would be recording from the right way, so it wouldn't record the audience as well.
Dude, you came in for the rescue.
I know. I wonder if that probably won't be in the video because they're going to upload the seminar on eventually. I don't know
You
when.
never know, man. There could be like a, big thank you to Luke the Goon from Dark Future.
That would be pretty fun.
Saving our conference.
I know, saving the audio. But the thing about the collector's edition is they talked about Red, and they showed off new artwork and some other stuff. The art director was there. She talked about it. And then they asked questions, and I didn't really have a question because I just had an interview with him. And then they did I think his name's Patrick Mills, I think is his name. Sorry if that's not it. He's a quest designer at CD Projekt Red. And he came up and they did a 2077 discussion. And the questions were, pretty basic stuff that I think people that are like paying close attention to it, like we are, would be able to answer the questions. But I was just kind of sitting there and I was like, it's 2020 next year. I wonder if they're going to do anything with Cyberpunk 2020. So
They have to, right?
That's what I was thinking. And so I asked them, I was like, in 2020, are you going to do a Cyberpunk 2020 hardcover collector's edition? And Mike just kind of sat up there and he was kind of, I don't know if he looked around, but he kind of sat and was like, yeah, we're doing it. And then they kind of went to the next question. And I was
Sorry,
like,
you cut off
that's
right
how
there. They said, yeah, we're doing it.
Yeah, they said, yeah, we're doing that. And I was just kind of like, whoa, like they just kind of dropped out of there, like if I hadn't asked the question, we would still not know about it until, whenever they decide to officially announce it, I guess.
Yeah, I guess they didn't want that announced probably, but why not?
Yeah, why not? Why not? I mean, people will find out when the video, I mean, I've already told everybody, but it'll be like, I guess, official when they drop the video.
Yeah,
Unless they
it'll be
edit the
fine.
question out. Unless they edit the question out.
Maybe they feel like people won't buy the books if they know a collector's edition is coming out next year, but I don't think that's true for everybody.
Yeah,
You
I
know.
mean, yeah, I mean, everybody who buys 2077 is going to get the collector's book or the 2020 book free anyway.
Yeah, that's so cool, man.
The PDF, I know. But
Dude, I really love
I've
the new
wanted,
art.
yeah, the new artwork that they're going with.
Yeah,
I
this whole
guess,
look.
yeah, they said that they're going to start doing like prints and selling them in their store.
Oh, wow.
And they were looking for people's feedback about which ones they want. I know which one I'd want. I'd want the dead Netrunner.
Yeah, that's a good one. The that like rule book and the lore book, the two covers, the
Hmm.
artist for it, he posted on Twitter like clean and all it says are Telsorian Games on the bottom. I
Hmm.
want those two for sure as a poster, a giant poster.
Yeah, they'll probably do those. I imagine they will.
Cuz the lore book has a guy that's like he kind of looks like the cover of the original Cyberpunk 2020 rule book.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
He's holding a gun up and everything, and it's like I love that they did that. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I
Well,
fucking
I'm
love
really
it.
curious about what they'll do with the 2020 collector's edition. Like I was thinking about it, and like in my head, I'm like, dude, I hope they put like the first edition artwork in the back, and I hope they. I think it would be cool if they put like notes like in the columns. Like
Hmm.
Mike Pondsmith is like, this is what I was thinking when I did this. You know what I mean? Like a true collector's edition. Like
Dude, I want a black and gold. Everything is gold. Where it's
that's what
the
I was thinking. Like
logo,
a maybe
hardcover.
like a leather bound, yeah, a leather bound like hard with like gold lettering, and like the artwork is like there, but it's like superimposed with like gold on it.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about, dude. I would totally buy that.
I know.
Totally.
I've wanted a hardcover for 2020 for a while.
Yeah, me too. I don't have it. I have the paperback and it's super old.
That's all they have.
Yeah.
The paperback.
Yeah, maybe it'll be a hardcover. It has to be, right? And it's like, well, we know that Mike watches and listens to everything. So if you're listening, Mike, we want a hardcover, dude.
Yeah, we want that hardcover, bro.
We want
I
the
think that's what
hardcover.
they'll do. I think that's what they'll do. Like, it's a collector's edition.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows if every word that I asked him is like applies to it? We know that they're doing like a special edition 2020. That's what we know for sure.
Yeah. Man, I really hope they explore the whole like chrome as fashion thing in red the way they did in 2020, but I want more of that. I think it's such a cool look, you know what I mean?
They address it a little bit in the Jumpstart kit, don't they?
I forgot. I think they just talk about chromers saying that they're high fashion. I think that's what was it in the rule book or in the lore book?
Oh man, I don't remember.
Yeah, we'll
I
have
don't
to look.
remember which one. They do. One of the things I thought was kind of cool is they have that like they have like those designer guns. Do you remember that part? Where they're like 3D printed guns that you can get out of like vending machines.
Yeah, it's so cool, dude. It's so cool. They came up with really good ideas, and it's like I know there isn't a lot of cyberpunk mediums out there, but there's enough that it's doing something innovative is really hard. You know what I mean? Like every cyberpunk movie or show has the same kind of shit, hacking, cyberware, you know.
Yeah, there's some things that are a little bit different. Like Altered Carbon, I think, is a good example of something that's a little bit different.
Yep, I really like Altered Carbon. I
Yeah,
really like that.
I have to finish watching it.
Oh, it's so good.
I know I've watched quite a few episodes. I just haven't. I'm one of those guys who like starts watching a show and then I just kind of like it peters off.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. Well, me and my wife, we love watching, like, we'll binge. Jesus. Let's see here. All things cyberpunk seminar. Is there anything else?
Um, Cyberpunk related. Well, I guess I'll talk about how like when I was going to the seminar, I'm always kind of trying to be early.
Mm-hmm.
So I got there probably like an hour early. Plus I was just tired from walking around Gen Con because there were so many people everywhere. But
Yeah.
I was just kind of sitting there, and Cody Pondsmith,
The boy. The boy that is a man. Oh, I
he
lost
kind
you.
of helped me. He saw me on the floor, like
Mm-hmm.
when I was getting ready to get my interview, and he was kind of helping me get Jay Gray and Mike together. And so when he came up the escalator, he saw me and he's like, "Hey," and I was like, "Hey, what's up?" I was like, "Yeah, we're here for I'm here for the panel." He's like, "Yeah, all right, let's go find it." So we went and we found where it was at, and then we sat outside and we just like talked for like a half hour about The Witcher and Cyberpunk and all the stuff that's going on and just like normal stuff. It was kind of a cool conversation. Like, I'm hoping if I go to Gen Con next year, I might interview him too.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. He wrote
Because
Red, didn't he? Him and
yeah, he helped
Mike.
write it.
Exactly. So it would be awesome to hear what he has to say. Especially I would want to know like what this whole cyberpunk thing means to him. Did you guys get that deep, or was it like, you know what I mean?
Um, I think I talked with him more about The Witcher because I felt a little weird talking to him about Cyberpunk because that's kind of like his dad's thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I kind of want to talk to him about his thing.
Yeah,
You know?
I get it.
Yeah. So, um, he told me he's working on a bestiary for The Witcher, and he's trying to get minis made for The Witcher, like the
Ooh.
monsters and stuff. So that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, man, it's so cool that he has that opportunity, and I'm sure he's gonna kill it. He's gonna kill it like 100%. He's already been killing it, you know?
Yeah. And that was something that Mike was talking about at the panel was that he gets credited a lot for like Cyberpunk. Like he's almost the only person who gets brought up when it comes to the game.
Yeah.
But he's like, all these people help write for it. We got these people we contract out. Cody writes for it. Jay Gray had written some for it. He's got all the
Shout
art.
out.
He's got the art director. Like there's so many people that work on the game, and he kind of was trying to be like, look, I'm not the only one here.
Yeah, man, he just has a good, like he's very ethical, great ethics, and I mean they deserve the success. In my opinion, they deserve all of it. So,
Yeah,
um,
I mean, I think something that speaks like loudly to that is when they ran that Mech Ton Kickstarter, and they refunded all the backers on that. Like,
that's crazy, man.
I can't think of a single company that would do that.
Oh
Like,
hell
most of them
no.
would kind of like string you out and be like, "We'll get you the book eventually." And
Yeah,
on top of that, he gave everybody their money back, and he's still going to give everybody the game,
yeah.
like
I mean, come on.
basically for free, which is crazy.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I remember there was an interview where people were asking him to translate cyberpunk into like different languages, and one of the languages that came up was Polish, and he's like, dude, who in Poland is gonna play this fucking game, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And he's like, okay, whatever, yeah, just do the Polish. Next thing you know, those guys were CD Projekt Red.
yeah, I
They
know.
started CD Projekt Red, and they're like, yeah, dude, we played it growing up, thank you, and here he is. Like, it's insane, dude, how life works in that way. It's amazing.
There's some like weird like other like universe where like they don't translate it into Polish, and CD Projekt Red never makes Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh my god. Dude,
There's some alternate timeline where that's what happens.
man. But yeah, Gen Con seemed like fun. I'm glad you had fun. You didn't get the nerd flu.
No, I don't really get sick that often, so
Well,
I didn't get sick at all.
the nerd flu is vicious, dude. It's nerds that go to conventions when they're sick because they're like, I'm not missing Gen Con, and then they get everybody sick.
Yeah, the con crud is what they call it.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, dude, I can see how people get sick because it's like you're at a concert. There's just like
Nuts to
a
butts,
wall.
dude.
Yeah, it's just like a wall of people, and you just have to like follow the group. That's it, dude.
Yeah. And we don't have a good track record for hygiene in our communities. You know what I mean?
Well, dude, like I mean, I was sweating, dude, badly. I mean, on top of the fact that I was nervous for my interview, I was also carrying around all my gear and like walking around. It
Oh
was
yeah,
like
dude.
it was like 95 degrees outside at Indianapolis anyway. So it was like, dude, I was sweating bullets, man. I
That's
probably
the
didn't
one
drink enough
thing.
water.
It's the one thing you underestimate with those like cons and going to Disneyland. It's like, dude, you just walk for miles in the
Yeah,
same place doing laps.
I walked 6 miles that day.
Yeah, dude. 100%. Dude, that's insane. Like if I told
I
you to go
know.
walk 6 miles right now, you'd be like, "Fuck off."
I know. I'd be like, I'm not doing that, man. That's what's crazy. It's like sometimes I like the other day I had to walk like a really far, and like it wasn't even close to the 6 miles. But for some reason, when I was there walking that 6 miles,
Yeah,
you
that's
don't really
crazy.
feel it as much. I guess I don't know. Other than like sweating, but it wasn't like
Well,
my
I
feet were
mean,
hurting or anything like
it
that.
was it was worth it because you got to like see what you wanted. You're interested.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Something I wanted to say about the interview when I did it is that like it was actually a lot of work that like goes into that because I watched every single interview I could find of Mike Pondsmith,
Oh
and
wow.
I made sure not to ask him questions that he'd been asked before.
Yep.
Because and plus, if you watch a lot of Mike Pondsmith interviews, you'll notice he tells the same story. He's got kind of like a kind of a response for a lot of the same questions, but like when that story that you were telling earlier about getting it translated into Polish or whatever, when he
Yep.
was going to get Cyberpunk 2077 made, he has that story about how he thought he was going to walk in there and they were with a goat or something like that. I've heard that story probably 4 or 5 times. There's a lot of stuff that he has.
That's
I
funny.
guess it was also a little bit easier because Red had just come out, so there were a lot of like pre-built-in questions about Red that I could ask.
Yeah, I mean, you were one of the first people to ask him about it.
Yeah, so it wasn't that bad. What's funny is I haven't seen any interviews with Mike come out of Gen Con other than
Yeah, I don't know.
I imagine maybe people are editing theirs together and stuff because Gen Con just happened this past weekend. So
Hmm. Yeah, that's interesting because I know a bunch did. Maybe they just yeah, maybe they're just editing it because IGN had one, didn't they?
I'm not sure.
I
I
think
didn't really see.
IGN had
Uh,
it before Gen Con. They had like exclusive before
oh
Gen.
yeah, yeah. They had that the thing about Red where they asked him about how it bridges the gap between
Yeah.
Red and 2077 and stuff like that. That was all stuff I knew people like. My interest in 2077. I mean, of course, I'm hyped for the game, but like asking him questions about 2077, I wasn't that interested in, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously I asked them the questions because people wanted to hear about it, but and I was interested in the 2077 like tabletop RPG because that'll be cool when they release that.
Yeah, that's cool that they're going to do that. I think that there's room, like I said, there's room for everything. There's a lot of people that would like be against it,
I
but
was
not me.
I thought maybe he would only do I thought it would be possible that he would do a source book, which is basically what he's doing. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. Like
Yeah.
he's using all the same mechanics, but he's just going to put it in a separate book, which, that's cool. I mean, I'll still buy it.
Yeah, no.
Everybody else will too.
It might be
But
more
yeah,
fun. Who knows?
yeah,
That's it.
yeah, maybe they'll update. I mean, they're probably like different cyberware and things like that, so it will need probably a separate book because there'll be a lot of extra stuff to put in there.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm excited about like what stuff they're releasing and cuz like we already have a good game with 2020. And nothing they can do now will, and even the jumpstart kit, like all that is awesome. They can't do anything now to mess it up. It can only go up from here.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed this, but on the Jumpstart kit, it actually says CD Project Red on it.
Oh, it does?
Yeah,
On the physical copy?
yeah,
Oh, well, I have the digital one.
yeah. Right below where it says R Telstorian Games, it says CD Project Red on it.
Hmm. I don't know why I never noticed that. Here, I have it under the rule book or
On the box.
yeah.
So you might be able to. They have the renders up. You could probably look at the renders and see if it's on there. I know it's on mine. I looked at it just now.
It's good, man. I'm good. I'm glad they have a good relationship like that.
Yeah, the other thing that I found out that I'm probably not going to release the footage from, but I was talking to him about like content creation for the game,
Yeah.
and one of the things I asked him about was the OGL or the SRD, and he's definitely interested in doing something like that.
What is?
But
Can you break down what that is? OGLSRD.
OGL is like the license to use the game's mechanics in like something that you want to create. Like if you want to create like thugs or something like that for somebody to use in their game, you could use the stat block and like the skills and things like that in your character. Like if you wanted to make your own adventure or something like that.
Okay.
The SRD is a little bit more involved, and it in like sometimes places particular names of things, and it's all things that the publisher chooses to include, and you can't use anything outside of what they include in that SRD.
Hmm.
So I asked him about that, and he said that he's been doing it, and he's been studying like Hasbro and how they handle their IPs and let people do things with like Transformers and My Little Pony. And he said one of the problems with doing like an SRD is that because now he's teamed up with CD Projekt in the game, they have these things like Arasaka and all these big names that are kind of like copyrighted kind of jointly between them, I guess.
Oh
And
shit! He
so,
kind of gave it
yeah,
away, you know?
yeah. So allowing people to use those things is tricky, And
Yeah.
so he's really interested in doing it,
I
but
mean, the only
he's
other way is just to like make um, new things that are not in 2077, like new corporations and
yeah,
stuff like that that are
yeah,
canon but not in 2077.
yeah. That are yeah, or like the big things that are in like obviously the overlapping things like Arasaka, probably Militech, anything that you see in 2077 is probably going to be murky waters in terms of content creation.
Yeah, I mean, for them, the thing about creating is you can always do it. You can always create, and they can just make new shit, you know? And if that's what they want to do, if they think it's a viable thing, if they think people will enjoy it and it'll have a good return, they'll do it, you know? It's
Yeah,
just
well,
tricky, like he said.
yeah, the other thing I was talking to him about is how they have like the DMs Guild on Drive Through RPG, and they have like something for the World of Darkness and a couple other games. They have like their own little subsections of the store where people can use certain assets to
Yep.
create content for the games. And
Nice.
he's interested in that too. So we'll see where that goes. I know he said something about like the stat blocks, and he said that like they're not as easy as they seem, and that a lot of the stat blocks that they use are like computer generated, I guess.
Hmm.
And he has kind of like a program that he uses to generate the stat blocks. But that makes me wonder, like, then what are they doing with the core rulebook? Like, you kind of
Hmm.
have to be able to generate your stats, right, in the core rulebook. So I don't know. That was something curious that he said that I wasn't sure how that's going to work, because he said that the stats that they use in the Jumpstart kit are all like basically he said optimized for that class.
Hmm.
So they have the certain stats that they need for that class to work the way that they should work, I guess.
Hmm. Yeah, that is interesting. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, because I don't know. I'd be curious how that would work. Like I was saying, like with character creation, how you can perfectly kind of create, a stat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then sometimes the fun in the game is not always playing like the perfectly optimized character. Sometimes the fun is playing a character who's really dumb. You know what I mean? And you
Yeah.
have to kind of,
Or
it's like,
go ahead.
I was gonna say it's like in Fallout when your character has really like the first Fallout when your character's really dumb and they can barely speak. You know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah.
fun things like that.
When you lower their intelligence to like almost zero.
Yeah, and they just are like go do and
Yeah.
the characters are like, "What are you stupid?"
Yeah. Yeah. It's fun. It's fun. Um, is there? We should talk about like anything that we plan to do in the future or anything like that. Do you have anything that you're working on that you want people to know about?
Um, I'm just, creating what I can right now. Like I said, I put out a video every day since I got back from Gen Con. I don't plan to keep that up, but I don't really have anything long term right now. Other than keeping the channel going, continuing to make content on that.
Mm-hmm.
I do have aspirations to make content for the game. Like I said, I don't know. Obviously, the core rulebook has to come out before I do that because I got to find out what's going on and I got to,
No,
where it goes
man.
from there.
You can totally do Red 2020 Hybrid, dude. That's what I'm doing. I'm already preparing that game.
Yeah, you just put out that video, right? About
The
kind of
trailer.
yeah. Well, no, you put out that video about converting your characters from 2020 to red or something like that, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But that didn't cover like any of the GM stuff that I did, you know. That just covered character creation.
So what are you gonna do with the GM stuff without giving too much away? Obviously.
Well, no, I don't mind giving some of it away. I just use the rules for Red, like the new combat rules, the net running. I'm gonna be using that, but there's certain like skills and special abilities that are not in the Jumpstart kit, so I just take them from the 2020 book. You know what I mean? Keep all the same cyberware and just run it exactly how Red is run. That's it.
Yeah, Mike said something about how like you'll be able to take the core rulebook and still use the like the old cyberware from the 4 books, I guess, that are combined into 2.
Yeah, man, you can use anything you want. Any of the Chromebooks, anything. You know, it's super easy. All he did was change like the Jumpstart kit has mechanics in it that are different than the core rulebook. There's definitely that. But they were simplified and they're easy to understand and you just replace whatever mechanic it's supposed to replace and you just continue playing 2020 with this red mechanic in it, you know?
Yeah. Was there anything in the world book that caught your attention that you would like that gave you like an adventure seed, I guess I'd ask?
Is it bad that I haven't even touched it?
Oh, you haven't looked at the world book yet? Oh, dude, the world book is really good.
I
I like it a
haven't,
lot.
man. I have to, and I want to. Let's see, how many pages is it? 53. Yeah, man, I could totally read this thing. It looks
It's
great, though.
really good. It's really good for like GMs. Like there's a lore in it, but there's some really cool like the Sasquatch thing is so cool, dude. Like
What?
Biotechnica. Yeah. I thought you saw this. Okay, Biotechnica is been like the world is like ravaged, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so Biotechnica is allowed to release these things out into like the habitat to like reinvigorate the world,
Yeah.
and there's like a the head of the little paragraph is called Sasquatch is watching. And so they've created like these like plants and these animals that are like bioengineered and they release them out into the wild.
Oh, wow. So there's literally fucking
Like
genetically made Sasquatches out there.
yeah, like Sasquatches, dude. There was like when I read it's just one paragraph, dude. When I read that one paragraph, I was like, I have so many ideas to run with that. Like,
Oh, shit. I didn't realize that the World Book wasn't just lore, it has all this shit. Night City
yeah,
encounters, an adventure.
I
Oh,
told you, yeah,
man.
it's perfect for GMs. There's even a section where it says, if you're a player, don't read past. It's like
Yeah.
the adventures, the scream sheet, stuff like that. But
Yeah, I
like, I
love
got
it.
ideas to like with that one paragraph, I got ideas to run like a like they bring back like dinosaurs, like velociraptors, like woolly mammoth. You know what I mean? Like my mind just went crazy. Like huge like Venus flytraps because they do like plants too. I was
Yeah,
like,
dude.
oh man,
Well,
my
that's what
mind just
the thing about net running was. It was always supposed to be like an option for you to have fantasy elements in your game, you know? You have like this virtual world where you can introduce anything you want, fantasy elements, whatever. It was just so complicated that nobody wanted to fuck with it, you know?
yeah.
But that was the idea of it, was just to like let people do whatever the fuck they want. So that's part of what I'm doing in my game. I'm preparing net running encounters and the program that first of all, the player has to choose an avatar, and it's like, what do you want to be? Do you want to be Arthas from WoW? Is that your thing? Like maybe that's what your guy was into, or do you want to be some kind of like Conan the Barbarian type? And then you go up against programs that programmers have made with their own favorite characters or their own favorite mythical creatures and stuff like that.
Yeah, like a Cerberus or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, oh shit, a Cerberus program. I've heard of this thing. It's made by this, and that guy who's known for hacking all the top banks in the world. This is an impenetrable program. So I got to try to figure out a way to get around it, you know?
Yeah, that's like one of the really cool things is like finally being able to like think up all these like net running like things that you can do, because net running has always been untouchable.
I know.
You know,
That's the thing. And it's like the backbone of cyberpunk, the genre is just
yeah,
hacking and shit, you know?
yeah. Now it's like the Wild West, man. Like there's so much stuff that we can like do now. You know.
Yeah, they introduced it in a way that makes it easier for GMs to program, you know, and to like plan out. So like it's still not as easy as just like a bunch of skill checks. It's not just that, you know, it's way more in depth. But it's not so much that I'm lost, you know?
Yeah, it's so perfect, man. It's
Yeah.
it's so great. I like if I was trying to think of one that was even better, I don't think I could. Like I think we both said we kind of did something similar, you know, but it was, you know, like you
Yeah.
really wouldn't want to play it anyway because you were just kind of like on the fly a little bit, trying to make it work.
Yeah, they didn't want to settle down. They didn't want to settle for a mechanic that was just simple, like how everybody does it. You know, just a bunch of skill checks, and it's like you're in, and that's it. You get to do whatever you want. You know, that's what pretty much everybody relegated everything to a skill check.
I like how they've divided actions into meat actions and net actions. Like that's kind of I think what we were saying is it's like net runners are now can be like a part of the team, you know?
Yeah, they're like mages. It's cool.
Yeah, because I think I said this on my review. It's like their cyber deck is like their spell book, you know what I mean? And their programs are like their spells.
Dude, imagine like you're fighting and there's an enemy in a doorway and he hacks into the system and is able to like drop a steel door down when there's like a lockdown on a guy and kills him. You know,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, there's way more you could do, like to help the whole group, like you were saying, like your whole group could be like in this, you know, room with the door open. Bunch of guys run in, you slam the door down on top of them, you know what I mean? Like the
Yep.
net runner looks like crazy powerful in that situation.
Yeah, exactly. Like hold them off for 2 or 3 turns. Like don't let them come through and I'll get a steel door down, you know? And then once your net runner is in, he kind of has control of the whole place unless they have their own net runner. And then it gets dicey. You know what I mean? Because then they have some
Yeah,
kind of Yu-Gi-Oh style battle with each other with
yeah,
their
that's where it
fucking
gets interesting.
programs.
Yeah.
Their cyber decks have like slots for programs, so they like what if there's 3 of them and it's like a free for all and it's like oh shit 3 net runners. There's so many cool possibilities.
Yeah, and your not all your programs are for combat. Some of them are for so you can go faster in the net, all kinds of different things.
Speedy Gonzalez, dude.
Yeah, that's what it's called, Speedy Gonzalez.
I'm surprised they didn't get any shit for that. You know how people look for something to be upset about.
Oh yeah. Well, it'll happen when enough people get their hands on it. That always happens, dude.
Yeah, but anyway, um, so well for me, things that I'm planning to do. So like I said it on my Twitter earlier, but I'm making a bunch of music that's like cyberpunk related,
Yeah, I saw
and
that.
yeah, man, I just plan on just releasing it to the public so people can use it for their games and upload it on YouTube or for their videos, podcasts, whatever they want. I just ask that people, you know, shout me out or credit me, and that's it, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm going to be making like maybe 5, 6 tracks. I'm going to put them out there. I already have like 4, and I've given some to like people that I've been like connected with as far as content creators, which I still need to make yours, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
working on yours.
I just sent you those tracks, so.
I know. I know. I'm getting inspiration. I haven't heard them yet, so I have to get inspiration from them. And then yeah, man, I just want to be able to like give back to the community. And I get it because when you want to make a video or some content, that's like one of the pieces of the puzzle. You're like Googling for like fucking, what's that shit called? What do they call it? Royalty free music? Is that what it's
Oh
called?
yeah, royalty free, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I've been down that path, dude, looking for something. And then I'm like, dude, what am I doing, man? I can make music, you know?
Well, yeah, and then it's like the YouTube selection is pretty pitiful.
It's terrible. Everybody uses the same music because they have no choice. They don't have the talent and they don't really have the means to like pay somebody to like make them a song, you know?
Yeah, it's funny because there are some people who I'll watch and I'll be like, I'll hear that music and I'll just I think of their channel right away. And then I'll go to another channel and I'll hear that music and I'm like, wait, I associate this music with that channel, but it's really.
Yeah, yeah. It's a meme. It's like that whole tutorial music. The dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
That fucking same song in every single one. But yeah, that's my idea. Like, I just wanted to release it for everybody because I can always make more. I like making music and it's fun for me. So, yeah, like I said, no charge, and I'm not gonna copy strike anybody unless they refuse to credit me. That's the only rule. Like, if they're just like, I'm gonna take it and not even credit you in any way, then I'll be like, well, no, then you can't have it. You know.
Well, if they like claim it as theirs, like that's, and that's a whole different
Well, that's the
ballpark.
thing. They don't credit me, and I go, "Oh, it's okay, forget it. Who cares?" And then I make a video, and then they copy strike me with my own song.
Hey, that happens.
Yeah, that fucking
No,
happens.
I've seen that happen.
That for sure happens. So I'm not gonna fucking. You're not gonna catch me slipping, dude, when I'm trying to do a good deed. You know.
Yeah.
So there's that. Yeah, 5 or 6 tracks. I might do some more after that, and hopefully you guys like it. And then I had another idea that I'll be working on. Hopefully, try to figure out soon. But I had an idea where we can get like a community game going on, because that's what I see all the time, especially in the R. Talsorian official Discord. People asking about like who's running a game. I want to play, and they can't find anybody. And I totally feel for them, dude. I've been in that position. It was literally me and my buddy doing one-on-one games for like 3 years. You know, he was
Yeah.
the GM, I was the player. So like, I get it when you can't find people. You know,
One-on-one games aren't so bad if you have the right GM.
dude,
But
it sucks after 3 years.
well, yeah. If you're playing it that long, yeah.
I begged him like, dude, that's a whole like podcast in itself. But we went on Craigslist. He's like, John, this is a mistake. And sure enough, it was a fucking mistake, dude.
Wait, you played Cyberpunk with somebody on Craigslist?
Yeah, yeah. No.
Oh my.
We played Rifts with someone on Craigslist because we had played Cyberpunk for like 3 years, and I was like, okay, dude, let's try another game and then come back to Cyberpunk. So he introduced me to Rifts. I don't know if you ever played that.
I've heard of it by Palladium. I've never
Yeah.
played it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like just like they're like rifts into different types of worlds, right?
Yeah, so it's like supposed to be like some general rule set, so everything works in it. You know, as long as it's a Palladium book, it works in this world. I think that's what it was.
So it's kind of like Savage Worlds in that
Yeah,
respect.
but then there was like ridiculous fucking, because I think Cyberpunk was a part of like it was, you were able to put Cyberpunk into the game somehow.
Yeah.
But you can, and Robotech, so you can make like those fucking giant, what are they called?
Mechs.
Yeah, those giant mechs, and then make them a booster and give them like cyberware, and it's like it has like the most OP. They had stuff called mega damage, which is like millions of damage, and only certain people could do it. It just got out of control. But anyway,
Yeah, it sounds like it.
it was out of control. But it was a bad experience with those people. I got pink eye. They had
What?
it was. I'm telling you, dude.
What?
I got pink eye at somebody's. Dude, they were dirty, man. They had like cats everywhere and like cans. They were like nice enough to host us, dude. You know, but I got pink eye, man. I got pink eye from sitting on their couch. All right.
You got pink eye from playing Rifts
Yeah, exactly.
with
Yeah.
Craigslist players.
And then apparently one of the guys there pissed all over the seat of like the dude's bathroom and
Oh
didn't like.
God.
Yeah, it was bad, dude. It was bad. It was not a
Oh
good experience.
God.
And my friend was like, "Dude, I told you," you know.
Well, you
So,
know what? It was probably a good idea you went over there because that way they don't know where you live.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that was not an option. That was not an option. Dude, come on. He's like, "You guys can come to my house," and I was like, "All right."
You're like, okay, cool, sounds good to me. Oh God, dude.
But pretty much, long story short, that guy's idea was he was going to sabotage my game so we could play his D&D game. He wanted to hijack the group.
Gee.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
so apparent. Like it was fucking hilarious. But anyway,
How long ago was that?
oh fucking like 2009, 10
Okay,
years
so that was a
ago
while
maybe.
ago. Yeah.
Maybe even more. I don't know. I'll have to ask him when we started playing Cyberpunk, but we'll see. But there's that. So yeah. The whole point of this was I'm going to do something called Cyberpunk on the spot, where it's an interactive experience. We, have like people can sign up to play, they show up, it's a live show, and people in chat can give us ideas for what we're doing, and we play Cyberpunk with no preparation, and we just use like the pre-gen characters in the jumpstart kit,
Okay. Yeah.
And we just play Cyberpunk with like I might have an idea like, okay, today we're robbing a bank, and then people in chat will just give us ideas of like what's going on in the bank, what's the layout, and we can roll for it, we can do whatever we want. But the whole point is that I don't have enough time to like actually prepare a whole other Cyberpunk game, but I still want to be able to give people a chance to play Cyberpunk,
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You know,
that's in the works.
You know how often you're gonna do that?
No, I don't know how often. I honestly don't even know when I'm gonna do it or how long it's gonna be. Like, is it 2 hours, 3 hours? It's so hard with the like my wife's like, dude, you're putting too much on your plate because we have a kid. He's 11 months old, and I have a full-time job. So, it's tough to make time, but I think I can squeeze it in somehow.
Yeah, since I've decided to start doing this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like Thursday nights are gonna be when my game is back online with my Cyberpunk crew. So till then, I have that open, and then Monday and Tuesday nights, Pacific Standard Time, I might be able to do something around those days. As long as it's like fun and it's just Cyberpunk on the spot, no preparation, whatever happens happens. Hopefully it's entertaining.
Yeah, like so as long as it just doesn't become like work or something like that,
Yeah, that's it. If I don't have to prepare and we're just playing, because I don't know if you've heard of this YouTube channel, How to Be a Great GM.
I've heard of it, yes.
Dude, that guy is amazing, man. His like philosophies on how to be a good player, how to be a good GM, it like transcends beyond D&D and everything. And he's taught me so much, so much. So, and he has this video out right now about how to play a game with no preparation. And I still haven't watched it. I want to fucking watch it because it's like that's exactly what I want,
Yeah, I've never actually watched one of his videos. I watch a lot of like RPG related videos, like Matt Colville. I don't know if you watch.
Yeah. He's like taking 20 and stuff like that. Like those guys, I feel like I'm kind of emulating them with my YouTube channel, where it's like you just talk about it, you cover things. It's kind of like philosophical too. So that's the kind of shit I like.
Yeah, I'm trying to do kind of a mix. I want to do a mix of like news and kind of like maybe like GM tips, kind of. Like I want to do a video about that Biotechnica thing that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely, at least for now, you're doing the whole like news thing really well,
Yeah.
So that seems like something you're interested in. Like you like being the news guy, you know?
Yeah, dude, I've been doing. It's funny because I always kind of want to do like one thing with what I'm doing, and then I always slip back into what I've always done, which is new.
Well, dude, that's a
Always.
skill too, man. That's a
Yeah,
talent, that's a skill, and you did such a good job with the interview. You were like at the front lines, dude. You put in the work, you know?
yeah. Well, like, it's
So,
kind of like funny because I think I told you this story, but like when I started the Twitter account, it was just kind of gonna be like inspiration, maybe screenshots, talk about it, and then it just kind of like turned into like the website, and then I was doing like news on there, and then I got the .com, and then it just went back in, and then it just kind
yeah.
of like, and then I never planned to like be in front of the camera or even really talk at any point. I wanted to be completely ambiguous, you know what I mean? So nobody knew
Yeah.
who I was.
Yeah.
And then like I think mainly it was that Mike Pondsmith interview where I was like, I got to come out and, I mean, obviously I could have done an interview where like I was off camera, asked the questions, cut my
Yeah.
voice out.
But
But I
then
was
it
like,
would have been weird
yeah, like,
because you were sitting next to him, you know?
yeah.
So,
And,
you're right.
the way
It
we
was the
did it
right
was just,
decision.
yeah, conversational and everything. So
Yeah, yeah. It would have been
I
weird to
figure
like
now
have
that I'm
you
out
off
and,
camera.
now everybody knows who I am now, I might as well just go full bore.
Also, I could never be the person to like wear an outfit and like a mask when I go out in public and shit. Like I just
Dude,
can't.
that, what's funny about that is like after I did the interview, I was thinking, I have a couple luchador masks. I was thinking like, dude, I could have just put on the luchador mask
I know,
and did the
man.
interview.
Oh my god. Like I'm
uh,
I'm glad that there's people that can do it cuz it's entertaining, like Dr. Disrespect and all those types. It's fun, but I can never be that guy. And if I ever was, I would feel so phony, you know?
yeah, I mean, I think the key with those kind of people is that, or guys, whatever, is that like they always put a little bit of their own personality in it,
Yeah, yeah, for
and
sure.
so they don't feel, like Dr. Disrespect, like, yeah, he puts on a show. I think all YouTubers do, really, or
Yeah,
not
yeah.
all, but most, kind of like turn up their personality, like,
Yep.
10, sometimes more now, you know?
Yeah, yeah. That's like the whole point, right? You know? Because it's you, but it's like a version of you. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
some people just like make it so far away from them, but it's still a piece of them. You know?
yeah. Unless you're like Neon Arcade, then you turn it down like 5 notches.
Shout
he's
out.
such a cool he's such a cool dude, but like in his videos he's like monotone, and then if you listen to the Cyberpunk podcast, he's like joking around, it's really funny.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I'll tell you what. Like I've done Twitch for 3 years, and I was like, oh, I'll just do YouTube. And then when I went to start like my first video, I was like, dude, this feels so fucking weird. That
Yeah.
I'm just like sitting in this room. It's just me, and I'm talking to this camera. Like it felt so out of my element. And usually when I'm streaming, there could be people watching me, and I'm like totally cool, you know, because it's like I'm not the only one here. But when you make
Yeah.
videos, it's just you. It's so creepy, dude.
Well, because part of it for me that's weird is like introing a video is weird because I never know exactly what to say. Like, hey, what's up, guys? Or like
I
it
know,
just
I
sounds
know,
so
I
weird.
know.
I
Trust me, I
never know
know.
how to intro a video right.
I know. And you're like, everybody says, hey, what's up, guys, man? I'm not original. I'm saying the same thing everybody says, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I refuse to say, "Hey, what's going on, Chumbas?" But like,
Yeah, yeah.
but
We
we've
had this
talked about
conversation, yeah.
our disdain for the word Chumba before. But
Okay, to be fair, like I don't hate the word chumba,
oh yeah,
but
I don't hate it.
you'll never catch me saying it like unironically, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, unironically, yeah,
Like I'm glad that there's slang and lore and all that cool stuff, but some of that slang it just doesn't jive with me, you know what I mean?
I know. I think you in 2077 when you hear Jackie say it, it sounds good because it's like natural. Like when we say it, we're like we know it's kind of a goofy word, so we're like
Yeah.
Chumba. We don't have any like conviction behind it, I guess.
Yeah, dude. I mean, come on. I went to a high school where the mascot was a tornado. I'm not a chumba. All right. I'm just a guy.
I didn't know high schools had a tornado. Is there?
Dude, I'm telling you, Hoover, shout out. Hoover
I'm
had.
always
I'm
used to like.
doxing myself.
I'm, I'm always used to like pit bulls, Spartans.
I know. A natural disaster
You
is
know,
kind of fucked up, isn't it?
yeah, it is. It's like what, dude?
People are like,
That's.
dude, I lost my house to a tornado. You think it's a joke?
I know you're like, let's go Hoosiers or whatever the name is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dude, that ain't cool, man.
Yeah, I know, but what can you do? It's funny. Should we wrap this bad boy up?
Unless you want to talk about some of the non-cyberpunk, something non-cyberpunk for a little bit.
Well, we already did an hour, and
All right.
and I see
I
some
guess.
of the what was like. Yeah, yeah. You can talk about something that you really wanted to talk about. Pick one or two.
Well, something I saw at Gen Con that I thought was really cool that was not cyberpunk was the Marvel Crisis Protocol,
Yeah, I see that
which
in your notes. What is that?
it was really cool looking. I took a little bit of footage of it. Maybe I'll release it later, but it's like it's a minis game, but like you pick like Iron Man or Thor or whoever you want. It's kind of like if you can picture Warhammer 40K
Mm-hmm.
only with like superheroes, and like they had this terrain set up and it was like really cool. Like they had like a subway and it was like coming off the rails, and they had like crossbones and like Captain America, and they had a little diorama that had like Spider-Man's webs like with a car in the air, like how he does like
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
capture car. It looked really cool. They revealed it at Gen Con.
So wait,
And
they're just like it's like Warhammer 40K. You like paint them and everything.
and you can pick, you can either be villains or heroes, and like you guys kind of agree on where you're going to set your heroes on the map or whatever, and then you kind of are like then you kind of have like a scenario, which is like capture this, or like all free for all or whatever. You have an objective.
Oh, that's like Warhammer. That's awesome, dude.
It
I
looks
hope it's
really
not
cool.
as
Like I said,
expensive.
yeah, I know like each hero is kind of expensive because I was looking at the prices they had on the minis and they were a little expensive, but I guess if you only have a team of so many, it wouldn't be so bad. And I know they're grouping them up too because they had like Thor, Valkyrie, and somebody else, and I think it was $30 or something like that.
Oh,
So like,
that's so much cheaper than Warhammer. Because I'm
yeah,
guessing each hero is supposed to like be as strong as a squad in Warhammer, right? Like
yeah,
that's what it's
yeah,
supposed to like represent.
yeah, because like there's only so many, like maybe there's like 6 or 7 on the whole
Yeah.
map, the whole
So
terrain.
you buy less stuff. So, and that's way cheaper than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, they have like a beginner box, I think, and I don't know the price of it. I don't remember what it was, but it's got like Captain America, Spider-Man,
It would be
somebody
cool
else,
just
and
to
they have,
paint
like, a
them,
couple
dude.
villains. I know.
So.
I used to paint stuff. Like I used to play Warhammer, the medieval Warhammer.
Mm-hmm.
I never actually played it. I just bought the minis and painted them.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, but I used to be pretty good at it, I guess. I didn't do like all the fancy, like black washes and all that stuff, but
Yeah, I've played maybe like 2 games of 40K, and I had 1 squad of Tyranids and 2 squads of Chaos Space Marines, and that's it. But because I just couldn't afford it, dude.
yeah.
Like,
They
I
got
was a kid.
They got a smaller version of the game now called like Kill Team,
Yeah,
and it's Warhammer, but it's basically like skirmish battles.
yeah, yeah. Kind of what this Crisis Protocol sounds like.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I'll have to post that footage somewhere, or maybe I could just send it to you or something. But it's like it looked really cool.
Anything else that you wanted to talk about?
Let me see. The food was really good.
Oh, really?
I saw a couple like semi-famous people, I guess. Satine Phoenix was there. She's like big, and do you know who that is?
Nope.
She's like a dungeon master kind of person. She's like one of the like celebrities.
Save Team Phoenix?
Yeah. I wouldn't Googling. Okay, you could probably Google her. She's like an ex-porn star, so be careful.
Oh. Wait, what's her? It didn't come up.
It didn't.
Yeah, safe or save?
Satine. Satine.
Satine.
E.
Satine.
Phoenix.
Okay. Oh yeah. Filipino American comic book illustrator, painter, cosplayer. This person?
I think so. She's like known for. She does a lot of stuff with Dungeons and Dragons now.
I think I've seen her before. Yeah, I've seen her like posts. Like people have like shared her posts and stuff on
Yeah,
Twitter.
she does a lot of like Dungeons and Dragons stuff, and
Cool.
she's like she does a lot of DM stuff. I know she's doing like some kind of Kickstarter right now with the guy who does Dwarven Forge
Mm.
about like it's kind of like a travel show, only they're going to inspirational D&D type places, like Iceland and places like that, like
Okay.
volcanoes and stuff.
Cool.
But let's see, I saw Adam Koebel, I think that's how you say his name.
Adam
uh
Coble.
he was just like walking the floor, and I was like, what the heck? Like, I mean, people weren't mobbing him or anything. He created a dungeon world, and he does like a lot of YouTube stuff and streaming. He does like a lot of DM, like dungeon master type stuff.
Adam Coble with the K, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I
Cool.
saw Joseph Goodman, who's the founder of Goodman Games. He did Dungeon Crawl Classics, which is another like kind of OSR. It's not really OSR, but I call it OSR game. It's really cool. The artwork in those books is beautiful.
Nice, man. Yeah,
And
see,
then
like, I don't know any of these people, man. I think I'm out of touch.
well, these are all kind of like D&D type people, so
Okay.
I don't know how dialed in you are to Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like
I
that. And
know
like
who Matt Mercer is.
yeah, I didn't. I think he was there. I didn't see him though.
There's okay.
And
The only thing I've been exposed to for D&D is Critical Role, Critical Hit, the Adventure Zone, and I can't think of anything else. So I think it's just those three. And
it
then
was
like
funny.
I played D&D.
The other, I guess this is Cyberpunk related. I mean, me and you aren't really into Shadowrun, but the Shadowrun booth was actually pretty cool. Catalyst Game Labs booth was pretty cool.
Hmm.
They had like a display that had like all their old Shadowrun books in it, like first edition and like the different source books, and they had like a statue in it.
Nice.
And then the guys who were demoing the game were dressed up like orcs, and like they had like the teeth and like the hair and like a mohawk and stuff. It was pretty cool.
That's cool. That's funny. All right.
Yeah,
Anything
that was
else?
Gen Con, man.
Yeah,
That was
man,
Gen
that's
Con.
cool.
Like, a lot of people, like I talked about this to you before, but like if you're gonna go to Gen Con, it depends on what you're into. Like if you're only gonna go for Cyberpunk like I did, you could probably only go for one day and you're fine. Pick a day where they're doing the panel like I did and go that day, because Gen Con is more like something where you're like, I survived. You know what I mean? Like while you're there, you're kind of a little bit miserable, and you're like, and then when you get out of there, you're like, man, that was something else. But while you're there, you're like, this is terrible. I'm sweating, carrying all this heavy stuff around. It's cool. I'm meeting all these people. And then you get home and you're like, that was cool.
Yeah.
But if you're really into board games, like if that's your thing, there are a ton of board games there. And like,
interesting.
you could probably go like all 4 days because there's so much stuff there, like in terms of board games.
Man, I can't get anybody at my house to play Betrayal on House on the Hill, and that's like the most accessible game. People come over and I bust it out, and they're just like not interested, dude.
See, I used to have a roommate that always wanted to play Munchkin, and I hate that game.
Oh, it's actually kind of fun, man. But I get it. If it was like
maybe it was the people I was playing with. I don't know, but like, I just got, because it was always him and his girlfriend, and they would like beg me to play, and even if I didn't want to play, sometimes I just to appease them. You know what I mean? And so I think it was like I was hate playing the game.
That's so funny, dude.
Maybe now, like if I played it, I'd be fine. I actually like Flux. I don't know if you've ever heard of Flux. I like that game a lot more.
Flux? Is it a card game?
Yeah, it's been so long since I played it, but I had a lot more fun. I think it's because Munchkin is kind of a long game to play, and like if you don't really want to play it, you can sit there for like 45 minutes to an hour playing Munchkin, and it's like I just want to be done with this game, dude.
The card game with ever-changing rules. Flux. Is that it?
Yeah, yeah. There's like, it's been so long since I played it, but it's like there'll be a rule card down that says like you have to draw 2 cards every turn instead of 1, and so everybody draws 2 cards, and then somebody can like play a rule that will override it, where it's like instead you these aren't necessarily cards, but like instead every turn, you know.
Interesting.
But I think I liked that game because it was fast, and so I could get out of there.
Sounds like you don't want to play, dude.
Oh man, I don't know. I have like a weird relationship with board games. I think
Dude,
where I'm like, eh.
Who hurt you with a Monopoly board?
I don't know, dude. Like, I those kind of board games are fine, but maybe it's just that I'm so much into tabletop RPGs that like the lack of creativity you get with a board game is like frustrating to me. That might be what it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's nothing like it, dude. That's what makes it so unique. It's interactive storytelling with no limits.
Yeah.
And there's a game in there too. You know, there's dice, there's mechanics, so there's an actual game, but there's so much more to it than just a game, dude. Like, people have memories of their sessions that they'll never forget, something that happened. And it's like something you take with you all your life. I don't remember the last time I played Uno or Monopoly or anything, you know.
Yeah, but it's because it's storytelling and like it's your character. It's not like the top hat on the Monopoly board, you know. It's like a character that you built for like however long it takes you to create a character, like an hour and a half sometimes. Yeah. And so that's like, I don't know about you, but a lot of times when I create a character, I like create myself in a way, you know. Yeah. I know some people don't do that, and some people poo-poo that.
I do exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I always do, and so it's like you have a real connection to that character.
Yeah, some people, like, I knew a guy that only made female characters. And I was like, dude, just tell me, like, what is going on here? And he's like, well, if I'm going to have to stare at something while I'm playing video games, it might as well be, like, a cute girl. And I was like, why, dude? It's a virtual girl. But, like, no judgment, dude, whatever. It's just such a weird, like, reason to do it.
Yeah, there are some people that do that. It's kind of, to me, it's weird, but, you know, there are a lot of people that do it, so.
Yeah, yeah.
Whatever floats your boat, I guess.
I guess my only gripe is the people that do it and then don't admit that they just want to gawk at a girl. You know, there's some of them that are like, smaller hitbox, bro.
They're like, dude, the model looks way better.
Yeah, dude. This is just, I mean, the guy one has so many bugs, dude.
Well, there's like the, in Mass Effect, there was that whole thing with the voice actress. A lot of people thought the voice actor was better for female Shepard.
For Shepard? Oh, they thought female Shepard was better than male Shepard?
Yeah, there are a lot of people who like that voice actress better than the male one.
I've never given the female actress a try, but I love Commander Shepard's voice.
Yeah, I always liked it too. A lot of people were like, "Oh," I'm like, dude, I love that. Oh,
unpopular opinion, I hate Geralt's voice.
The like raspy Batman voice.
It's because it sounds so forced. You know, it's like, okay, we get it. You're that guy. You know what I mean?
It's like the Batman voice. It's like a little bit like raspy, like it's like Christian Bale Batman voice.
I've seen some shit. You understand?
Yeah.
I've been through some shit.
Yeah.
I'm a hard motherfucker.
I don't think it ever really bothered me that much, you know. But I can see where, because like I always had a problem with Christian Bale Batman because of that voice.
It was terrible. It took me out of the movie, dude. It took me out.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, unpopular opinion. I think the Christian Bale Batman movies are overrated. But you know,
there's genre defining. How dare you? But you're right. I know. No, but you're right. There's definitely parts where you show me that now and be like, look at this, John, and I'd be like, yeah, you're right. It sucks. Dude, to be honest with you, the best thing about all those movies was Heath Ledger as Joker.
You know, I actually liked the guy who played Two-Face more.
Oh, shit. I thought
I
you were
can't
gonna
remember his
say
name.
fucking the other guy as Joker. I was like, is this guy about to say that?
Oh no, no, Harvey Dent. Harvey Dent. I can't
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
the actor's name,
He was
but I
great.
thought he was great, and like I think that like the Heath Ledger like overshadowed his performance in that movie.
Yeah, but definitely he had a strong performance too, in my opinion.
Yeah, but because of the whole Heath Ledger thing, it was like completely overlooked, and it was like Heath Ledger's the god.
So this is what this podcast's about, right?
And
We talk about
we talk about
DC.
all kinds of shit. But I'll say my favorite Batman movie is still Tim Burton Batman.
All right, man. We're getting ridiculous now. You're delirious.
The Batman Returns one
It's
where
getting late.
there's Penguin.
Yeah. Or and there's nipples on the bat suit.
No, that's not that one.
It's not that
I'm
one?
talking about no. The one with
Danny
what's his name?
DeVito as the Penguin?
Danny DeVito as the Penguin.
That's a good
And
one,
like
you're right.
that one's great. I love that
That's
one.
a
It's
good one.
probably more of like a childhood thing that I like that one more, but I still love that one.
He freaked me
Catwoman.
out when I was a kid, for sure. It freaked me out.
I know. Remember he's like there's that scene where he's with that guy. He's like at that banquet or whatever, and he's like, "What's that blood on your nose?" And the guy goes, "What blood on my nose?" And then he bites his nose.
Yeah,
And he's
yeah.
like, "That blood." That scene's so great.
Fucking Danny DeVito, man.
I know. He should have played Wolverine, dude. I'm telling you.
He's already won.
Oh my goodness.
All right, let's end this bad boy, dude.
All right.
Let's wrap it up. So yeah, we don't. Hopefully, by the time I upload this, we'll have a name, and that's the name of this podcast. And we're gonna try to do it. I don't even know if we're gonna do it every week or maybe every 2 weeks, once a month. I think once a month for now.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we can do it whenever. I mean, if big news happens, probably jump on.
Yeah.
Talk about it. It'll be when there's newsworthy news to talk about.
Yeah, and I mean, unless there's a demand too, if people are like, we need you guys to do it, then I guess we don't have a choice.
Get your ass behind the mic again.
So stay tuned for free music. Stay tuned for my Cyberpunk on the spot. Stay tuned for new videos and my new chapter in the Wise Guys sessions, Cyberpunk Red. That's happening. I also have another podcast, the Point and Click podcast, where we talk about video games, and we're trying to book some really cool guests coming up. I think you guys might recognize them. And then I also do another podcast with my wife called the Wise and Sassy podcast. It's just like me and my wife talking shit. It's fun. Sometimes we fight. It's great. And that's pretty much it. Twitter, JonJonTheWise. What about you, Luke? What do you want to plug?
Well, I've got my YouTube channel that I just started. So if you could subscribe to me there, I've been putting out a video every day since Gen Con. That probably won't continue, but depending on when this uploads, my next video is a little update about the Afterlife card game from CMON. My website, thedarkfuture.com. I've got my Jumpstart Kit review there that you can check. And follow me on Twitter at thedarkfuture2, because the guy who has the Dark Future is gone, hasn't used it since 2016.
Fucking, it's some edgy kid too,
I know. He's like, dude, the Dark Future's available. I'm gonna get it.
14-year-old kid is like,
I know. And he just completely left it. Okay, dude, if you're listening to this, I'll pay you some money for that.
Dude,
for that handle.
You fucked up. He's gonna charge you so much now.
I know. He's gonna be like, dude, $1,000.
Like, fuck you, man.
No, man.
You haven't been on it in 2 years, 3 years.
I'll give you $10 for it.
Other than Twitter.
No, website. Subscribe to me on YouTube, because like I said, I got a lot coming out. And I think that's about it. I mean, obviously, listen to our next podcast when we do it.
Yeah. And I'm on the, are you on the official R. Talsorian Discord as well? You are, right?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So both of us are. We're always on there. I always have it active on my phone. I'm reading it. So you guys should join up if you want to chat. And, yeah. What else? That's it, right?
Yep. I'm Luke the Goon on Discord.
There it is. JonJonTheWise and Luke the Goon. Maybe we should incorporate that in our name somehow. The
Possibly.
Wise Goons.
That's actually not bad.
But then people won't know that it's about Cyberpunk. So
It's true. Yeah.
Cyber goons. Cyber goons is good. Oh man, I actually like that. Cyber goons.
Yeah, thank you for listening to the Cyber Goons.
Yeah, we're the Cyber Goons. We're all Cyber Goons together. Actually, you know what? I'm going to post this without a name, and you guys tell me in the comments if Cyber Goons is a good name. All right.
We'll take all suggestions.
All right, dude. See you next time. Love you.
All right, see you guys.
Bye.